what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media, very important that you do so. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this also increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Talking to people joining, massive shout out to, I hope I say your name right, Anso, who's joined as a hyena, so massive shout out of appreciation to you. We are also joined by a whole bunch of people in Discord, together with Righteous Force and 10th Man in G+, so welcome one and all.
Good morning, good morning.
Morning.
Good morning,
Hello,
good morning.
G'day.
G'day.
Hey Nathan, how's your quarantine going?
Quarantine, not really the discussion of this
Well,
show. Nevertheless, any signs of physical Earth curve obstruction, formerly known as the geometric horizon?
Not that.
Any signs of axial rotation of the Earth-based variety?
No,
I'm going to
not from
pass.
airspace.
Any evidence of the distance to the sun?
It's over there, Nathan.
Any evidence that you can have gas pressure without the necessary antecedent of a container to press upon?
Pass. And what's an anti?
A requirement, in simple terms. Any
Just get the housekeeping out of the way and then we can go into the...
Yeah, thanks. I produce this show, Chris. Tell me what to do on my show again, I'll kick you out immediately. I run this show. Okay? Is that clear?
That's clear.
Jolly good. Any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
No, there's just drawings and books we saw, and I keep hearing that the deepest anyone's ever dug is less than 9 miles.
Any evidence of the R value, Earth radius?
No, they've misplaced that, Nathan. A black swan showed up.
Any signs of any Earth curvature?
Not from needles.
Scientific evidence of gravity?
Oh, it's getting me down.
Can't reuse that too many more times. Any single viable hypothesis from any of the fields of astronomy, cosmology, or astrophysics?
Do those
Not that I'm aware of.
scientists with
Why are you a
Guys, eager.
globehead, Chris? If you don't have answers to any of those questions, it seems silly to be a globehead, right?
Well, I mean, just once we get the housekeeping out of the way, I'll maybe talk about something else that I can talk.
Well, what? Ignore the question. Why are you a globehead, given that you don't have any answers to any of those questions?
I don't know, really.
Welcome to Flat Earth.
Well, you know, I'm kind of on the fence now.
No way. Stay on the globe side. I don't want you on our side.
See Chris Monk's video.
He is on the fence.
Hold on,
Nathan.
that
He
intrigues me.
started off
Hold on,
offensive.
10th man. Go ahead, Chris.
Well, wasn't really, he didn't say anything, he just released a little video that maybe be an indication that he's making a comeback.
Okay. What was the video about?
Nothing really. It's more like an intro than a video.
Okay.
What's your opinion of Chris Monk since he'd abandoned the flat earth?
He was deceptive with me when I asked him why he was changing sides. He gave me an explanation within his Blender model that the horizon...
What did he...
I was in the middle of telling you, but you're now talking through me, Chris, so that's going to be a bit of a problem. Maybe you tell me what he did. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were done.
What? Did the middle of my sentence interrupt the start of yours? Thanks, QE. So what Chris did in his Blender model was tied the... How can I describe this verbally without a picture? He tied the end of the camera position to a point so that as he rose up in the model, the camera would angle down to a fixed point. So the higher he went, the more the camera angled down. And on his model, he said, well, that's only possible on a globe. That's globe behaviour. Now, he didn't overtly state that he had tied the camera position to the ground, forcing the camera to angle as it rose in altitude. But I knew how his model worked. I'd paid attention. I'd spent probably hundreds of hours watching him model and asking him questions about how the Blender model worked and how the program worked, because I was interested. So when he showed me, I knew what he'd done. I called him on it. He muttered and didn't give me any response. So I explained to Anthony after the fact. I was like, well, he's intentionally deceived you and I, or he's lying to himself, because there's no way he wouldn't have known that he's tied the camera to the ground level, forcing the camera to pivot as it raises in altitude, as a claim that proves sphericity in a Blender model. Well, that's what he did, and that was his justification when he told me he was switching sides. So, as far as I was concerned, that's deceptive, and I called him on it. There you go. That's my opinion.
Do you not think it could have been a genuine error, though, that it just didn't... It was an oversight?
No. So that's why I detailed that I'd paid attention to how his model worked. He would have had to have fixed that camera position to the ground like he did to make it behave in the way it did. Well, that's something he'd have had to do within the model. He would have had to fix that camera point. So it's not like it was accidentally fixed to the ground. You know, he was using that as his explanation because he knew he was going to get asked why. Why do you think it's a globe now, Chris? That seems a bit crazy.
Right.
So that's what he showed me in response to that question. So no, he would have had to absolutely have tied the camera to the ground to make the camera pivot in the model. So no, well, maybe he's lying to himself when he did that, but ultimately he was deceptive to me and Anthony when being asked that question. And that's the bitter taste that's left in my mouth. Go ahead, I was done.
See, when he made the St. Bees model in Blender.
Correct.
Do you think that was legitimate? No foul play going on there?
Yeah, he disclosed the errors and issues that were with the model. You can't wrap a LiDAR map around a sphere for a start. So to the point of the lighthouse, you've got their tangent point, coincidentally, being the point that you've got a straight line drawn from St. Bees on that cliff. And then from there on in, it's just a flat map in terms of the representation on a spherical surface. So it's only going to work to a certain limited degree on a sphere. You're not wrapping it round a sphere. You can't.
But do you remember? I can't remember the name of the mountains or the peaks. There were two peaks that were the highest peaks on the Isle of Man, and he put one of the peaks higher. The second highest peak, he made the highest peak. Do you remember that?
Snaefell. I don't remember him making any peak anything. It's just a LiDAR map mapped onto or laying on top of a wireframe globe. So I don't really know what you mean in terms of moving Snaefell.
Yeah, Snaefell, that was it. Right, but the result, nevertheless, was that one of the peaks was higher than it should have been, higher than the highest peak on Isle of Man.
I mean, should have been. I don't really follow what you mean. No, I don't remember.
Right. So you've got the highest peak. What was the name of the highest peak on St. Bees? Snaefell?
Maybe another one was higher, but possibly.
Right. Let's just say that was the highest one, right? And the second highest one, whatever it was called, he made that higher than Snaefell.
So it could be I'm just guessing, it could be a result of what I've just described. If you've got a flat LiDAR scan laying on top of a globe that's wireframe, well, technically, shouldn't it wrap around the back of that globe from the point that you've drawn a tangent to, the physical Earth curve edge obstruction that we've now debunked? You know, the black swan, getting rid of R.
Yeah, but my point is that he made an error there, and it was just an oversight. So isn't it possible that he just made the same oversight on this thing that you say was deceptive?
Without going back over what exactly you're talking about, I don't know that he did make an error in that regard. I can't remember what you're describing. You're saying he made a mountain higher than another mountain. I don't really understand how you do that. But sure, if you're saying he's made an error, I mean, don't get me wrong, we're all human. And Chris is no different. As much as I've got a bitter taste in my mouth about how he departed from this subject, on account of the fact that I would state that he was deceptive, you're saying, well, could it be an oversight? Well, no. But when it comes to these mountains, I can't remember what you're describing, and I don't know how you can, as you describe it, make a mountain bigger or higher than another mountain. It's just a picture, right? Yeah,
well, anyway. So, what was it that made, do you know what made Chris Monk abandon the flat earth? Was it this model?
I just told you this. I just literally told you this 3 minutes ago. I asked him the question and told you what he gave me as an answer.
Right, okay. So he abandoned the flat earth because he modelled out something that could only have worked on a sphere in his mind.
With the camera angle becoming more acute as you raise in altitude. He's pointing the camera angle down as he goes up.
Don't you think it was unfair that it was removed from FE Core, though?
I don't know. I'm not FE Core.
Yeah, I know you're not FE Core, but
I can't speak for them.
Who's Chris Monk?
Chris Monk was the guy who produced the modelling, the Blender modelling for the Isle of Man debate. So at the time that we were begging the question, assuming their sphericity, R value, and Earth curve geometric calculator, now debunked by the Black Swan, when we were begging all those questions along with them and running things through the mathematics, we were simultaneously trying to model what was composited by Ranty Flat Earth. Shout out to Good Servant for the super chat. So he produced a Blender model based on a LiDAR scan of the Isle of Man and dropped it onto a wireframe in Blender and then started to compare flat with globe and then running that through the mathematics so we could figure out what we were actually looking at. A lot of the discussion and debate was about what we were actually seeing.
So it was based on the model to begin with.
Yeah, we were full on into the pseudoscience modelling nonsense, that's right. If you want to see us being that type of person back in the day before we knew better, feel free to check out the first couple of 100 debates.
So is that where the begging the question situation was analysed and understood much better?
Well before we understood that they'd hijacked perspective, well before we understood that they were assuming their outcome, well before all of those things, we used to beg the question along with them and go and argue in the calculator. Now we understand that as soon as you've got that calculator on screen and you're debating about whether or not it should be one figure or another, you've already lost. You've already begged the question. Every outcome from that calculator is going to be spherical. So it doesn't matter what the outcome is. You've assumed the sphericity of the Earth before you did a single calculation, so who cares? You've already lost. But back then we didn't know that, so we used to argue with them, and I bet they loved it. Just like yesterday when I described talking about whether or not you can have rockets working in space. And the guy was like, well, no, I thought it would debunk all of the ISS when we showed that they got hair gel. I'm like, no, that's the best argument they could ever ask for. Argue all day about whether or not they got hair gel in space. You know, beg the question of space, because that's the bit they want you to believe in. Not the ISS or the hair gel or the high wire, they don't care about that. As long as you believe in space, all that stuff can go straight down the memory hole, as long as space is still real. So yeah, let's argue all day about hair gel and high wire. As long as space is still real at the end of each argument, doesn't matter if you win or lose on the flat Earth side. So what's that? Transmissions can't go, whatever it was he said, 300 miles into space. There's no transmission powerful enough. All right, so I've debunked transmissions to space. So space is still real.
Well, went their model, if it was true, disprove the black swan, and yet the black swan shows that their model must have a geometric horizon at 1.23 miles at a observer height?
Well, it just affirms what they always argued. We've got a physical straight line tangent drawn to a point that's obstructing the bottom of the Isle of Man, and here's the geometry to do it. We just didn't spot back then that, hold on, where are you getting this straight line from? What's that? It's all refracted? We're arguing about how much refraction. Well, then we haven't got any straight lines. But you're drawing one to the obstruction in the foreground called the geometric horizon, and then everything beyond that, the targets are refracted. Oh, right. Well, we didn't realise that back then. How stupid were we?
Well,
According to Sean G.
That he went up on the mountain with the camera tied down, so it would always be looking down. It's such a... I mean, this is so obvious. You can't do it that way.
Wasn't Ranty part of the St. Beast thing as well?
Yeah, I can't remember what part Ranty played in it, to be honest, because he was up at St. Bees when I wasn't, so our paths didn't actually cross while he was up there, so I can't remember exactly what his part was, but yeah, definitely Ranty was involved.
It's just that I've heard a rumour that you guys are beefing now.
What's beefing?
Yeah, fighting.
I've got no beef with Ranty. Nah, that's not true. Shout out to Ranty Flat Earth. Subscribe today. I've got no beef with Ranty.
What about Riley?
I'm not Riley. Why are you asking me this? I'm not Riley. I'm not FE Core.
Oh, I thought Anthony might be with you.
With me? What do you mean with me?
Yeah, and you know.
I'm not.
I heard a rumour that there was you and Ranty were going at it like a week or two.
Oh, right. Well, isn't that nice? No, I'll say it again slower. I have zero beef with Ranty. Shout out to Ranty Flat Earth. Right, subscribe today.
Just a rumour I wanted to.
Based on what Ranty's currently covering, I decided to detach myself from Ranty so that I didn't have beef with him. I don't want to fall out with Ranty. Now, that was my choice, and if you want me to comment on Anthony Riley, he asked my opinion on a interview that Ranty had done, and said, "Does this sound like Ranty?" And I went, "Yeah, it does, yeah." And that was about as much as my involvement. From that, lots of tongues were wagging, and I was like, well, I don't know, I've been asked if this sounds a bit like Ranty on a voice changer, and I'm like, after listening to 5 seconds of it, yeah, it does a bit. He's talking about going down the pub. It's like, that's how Ranty talks. So that was my opinion based on 5 seconds of a piece of footage that I'd looked at. And then beyond that, I'm like, well, I don't want to fall out with Ranty, so I'll just divorce myself from him. Hopefully that will resolve itself in time. But for the meantime, as far as Anthony was concerned, he didn't divorce himself from him and has subsequently fallen out with him as far as I can tell for whatever reason. Now, that's not my business. I've got no beef with Ranty. I've got no beef with Anthony. If they've got beef between them, it's none of my business.
Right, but let's say that, you said that it sounded like Ranty. If it was Ranty, pretending to be, was it Infecto or something his name was? Do you think something that was like that. Wrong?
Is any of this relevant to the nature of our reality? Because this just sounds like gossiping about various people who come on the show. By the way, hey, Arwin.
That's about the state of the flat Earth community, really.
Do you mean the state of flat Earth? The nature of our reality has got nothing to do with these people as individuals.
Maybe not.
Yeah, you've got this idea that flat Earth is this group of people. It isn't. The Earth being obviously and observably flat isn't anything to do with people at all. It's the physicality and nature of our world, as opposed to how people behave with each other. Totally separate things. The fact that they appreciate the world's flat, so what? Doesn't change the nature of reality.
Is this Chris
Yeah, but you
talking
need
right
people
now?
to champion it, right?
No.
You need
Is this
people
Chris
to
talking?
champion the flat
Yeah, I heard
earth.
the first time, and I responded, no.
Is this Chris talking right now?
There's no requirement to champion anything. You leave here not believing
Then
that
how
the
would-
Earth's a sphere after you've left. Well, that's great. Good for you. Good luck on your journey of
how
discovery
would-
through the world that we live in. If you leave here saying Nathan's an asshole, how dare he challenge my religion, then go in peace in you no longer can trust it's been debunked by the Black Swan. But go away anyway. Believe what you like. I don't care. I'm not going to champion anything. Go and speak to Spurs.
But don't you need people to talk about the flat earth so it's brought to the attention of the general public?
No. You're on the wrong channel.
It's gonna happen anyway.
You're on the wrong channel if that's what you think I'm here for. No.
Oh, right.
I talk about the subject because I find it
Well,
interesting.
why do you do this then?
Why do I have a YouTube channel talking about a fascinating subject? Because it's fascinating to me. And presumably the people watching are also fascinated by this subject. Do I promote the idea that we should go out and champion it? No. Do I go out and champion it on the streets? No. Do I encourage others who do? Yeah, because I find that very useful. I also find that extremely interesting. So I watch it with high degree of intent in terms of what they're doing and passion for the subject on my own part. But I'm not a flat earth evangelist. Do I see this as some task to wake the greater population up? No, most of them hate me when I tell them about it, Chris. So do I want to go out of my way to have people hate me because they think I'm an idiot when I talk about things like natural law? No, I'm not in any, I don't have any desire for that.
Aren't you, why did you go to St. Bees then?
So we were debating about it.
Right, but you didn't have to actually go out there to make your own observations.
So what is
to
the point
talk
of
about
this?
it. You
Chris,
already had them.
what's your point? What are you trying to do? You're just looking for an angle to have a dig at me. Is that all this is? What's your purpose? What are you trying to achieve?
Just talk.
All right.
Well, if you just
Like,
want to
because you
talk,
need
I'd like to
people
ask him if
and
he
flat
can
earth
tell
to
us
talk
what the
about
Black
flat-
Swan is.
Go on, 10th man. Try again.
Chris, if you just want to talk, I'd like to hear your viewpoint of the Black Swan and the Modus Tollens argument that we've presented.
I've already given that opinion.
Well,
Hey.
if I already knew it, I wouldn't ask you.
That's what Brenda said. You haven't answered anything. Brenda used that tact yesterday. I've already answered. Moving on, Minnesota and... No. What's your opinion on it?
Well,
I just heard mumble.
do tell.
Mumble, I heard.
Well, he was
It's a straw
coherent
man.
when he was asking you questions, and now when we ask him
we
a
got an answer,
question, he's
10th.
incoherent.
We got an answer. He said it's a straw man. What, the peace statement's a straw man?
the Black Swan is a straw man.
Explain it. How is it a straw man?
The
Maybe
Modus
explain it.
Tollens argument is a straw man.
Yeah, what part of it?
That's as far as I'm going to go.
Well, that's baseless assertion with zero cowbell.
Well, Nathan, you've already heard why it's a straw man, so maybe you could elucidate.
Sorry,
people
maybe
on
I could
why.
argue your point for
What?
you. Let me get this straight. You want me to argue your point for you because I understand how others more competent than you argue it as a straw man. So you want me to argue your point for you, then debunk your point for you? No. Maybe you don't understand
That'd
your
be
own
one.
argument. Maybe you're going to interrupt me while I point out to my audience that it seems that you just claiming it's a straw man, presumably because you heard someone else say it, and then can't back it with any cowbell or explain how it's a straw man, would demonstrate admirably to my audience that you don't understand this rebuttal. So me arguing it for you, no. Maybe you can explain how it's a straw man rather than just use your baseless assertion and then say, I'm going to leave it at that. Well, I'll just leave it at, no, it's not a straw man. I'm going to debunk you instantly with zero effort. No, it's not a straw man. End statement.
Over.
Anything to back that it's a straw
I
man?
wouldn't
Maybe an
ask you
example of
to-
how?
I wouldn't ask you to argue it for me. Just, tell them why. I know you've heard it before. Tell them why globers say that it's a straw man.
That's arguing your fucking point for you. So what, in other words, rehash an argument from someone more competent than you who could actually verbalise how it's a straw man. You want me to do that because I've heard that already and you can't do it. Yet you're just demonstrating that you've just thrown this word straw man out and you have no vague notion of how the argument is actually a straw man because you can't argue it. What, there's at the end of the road, just, it's a straw man. No, it's not. I've rebutted it with, no, it isn't. Have you got anything further to your claim it's a straw man? Maybe an actual argument to go with it?
Why is it not a straw man?
Because it isn't.
Okay.
Yeah, that's about as useless as a rebuttal
That's
as your
not really
claim.
how that works, though, Chris. You got to tell us why you think it is a straw man, because that's your claim.
Yeah. Back your claim with cowbell.
No,
Don't ask me
no.
to do it twice on your behalf. My God.
I think he's hoping to
What
trick
did you
into
think of,
accidentally doing all the work for you, Nathan.
Chris, let's pretend
Oh,
nobody's
Arwin.
heard your reasoning behind
Arwin,
why
how's
it's a
your-
straw man. Why don't you tell us then? Chris?
Arwin, no, I didn't know you were here. How's your GoFundMe going for your...
Shut up. Don't ask him about his
Ooh,
GoFundMe.
make a left turn.
No, Chris, this is what the retards do. People like Sean Hawkins, who was in my chat yesterday, claiming that they didn't need and nobody claimed a physical geometric horizon. It wasn't necessary. And as soon as I started to hold his toes to the fire and explain why it's not necessary and how Rumpus and Al K and you and all these other people had come on to the show during the Isle of Man discussion and drawn a physical straight line tangent to a physical geometric horizon, I asked Sean Hawkins to explain it and he started to ad hom me. Why? Because he can't back his own argument. Because he's a retard. You are also a retard, Chris. You have just said it's a straw man and now you're moving away from the subject, having been held to task on your utter horseshit. So why don't you actually back your claim the argument is a straw man rather than asking about bloody Arwin's GoFundMe? Are you going to back your claim? You've said it's that's a claim you've made. Straw man is your claim. No cowbell. No response to anybody who's challenged you, and now we're moving on. No, we're not. Maybe relinquish your claim. Say, maybe my argument that it's a straw man I can't back. Maybe I'll just have to accept that you say, no, it isn't. It's just as good as me saying it's a straw man. That's about as useless as your claim, saying, no, it isn't. And your challenge to that being, well, maybe if you can explain how my argument works. Yet that's useless. How fucking stupid are you people? Chris! You're a thick idiot.
Yeah.
You're thick.
Nathan, just think...
I'm going to berate you,
think
you
I'd-
stupid twat. You are thick as shit. Do you hear me, Chris? You're dense. Stupid. Like all the people who come here. You're thick. Why are you asking Arwin about
breaking
GoFundMe when you've made a claim on a debate show that you're yet to back? What the hell is your problem?
You're breaking up. You're roboting there.
Chris, you are retarded. You've come onto a debate show and challenged a current tabled argument in regards to the Black Swan's debunking of the R-value in geometric horizon. You have claimed, in rebuttal, it is a straw man. That's the end of your argument thus far. You haven't actually backed it with any cowbell. My explanation for your lack of backing this with cowbell is that you are mentally retarded, mentally inferior to those who've come and actually backed this claim of straw man, only to be smashed. Now, I don't mind smashing the claim, but I want to hear you say it. You can't, because you are mentally inferior to the people on this panel, and the people who come and try and argue that the Black Swan argument, modus tollens, is straw man. It's not. You don't know why it would be claimed to be so, because you're stupid. Now, do you understand that you are mentally inferior to others you have heard use this word, strawman, when trying to rebut the Black Swan? Do you understand that you are stupid, Chris?
No comment.
Well, I'm here to tell you,
That'll be a
you
yes
are stupid. You have no vague notion how to back this claim on a debate show. You've joined a debate show in the vague hope you can talk about GoFundMe campaigns and the Isle of Man and Chris Monk and gossip about Corona nonsense. That's what you want to do on a debate show about Flat Earth, and when it comes to any actual claims tabled here, your rebuttal is one word you can't back. It's pathetic. You're thick.
You know how you like your fallacies, like your formological fallacies and all
What,
that?
like strawman fallacy that you can't back? Yeah, that's a fallacy. You used the word strawman. That's a logical fallacy you're yet to back. Don't now talk about my use of fallacy and my debunking when people claim these fallacies. I need to actually hear how it's a fallacy from the claimant. That would be you. So are you going to actually give us how it's a straw man so I can smash it into the middle of next week? Or are you so stupid that you think I won't notice that you're now talking about me and my debunking of other fallacies that you're not describing when claiming modus tollens as straw man? So, stupid idiot, when are you going to get to this? Are you useless to us?
So, I'm just wondering why you constantly use ad hom.
Piss off. You've claimed strawman, now you're not going to be part of the conversation. If you can't back your bullshit on this show, I'll remove you. Talking about why I debunked fallacies as a response to watch your bloody cowbell for this claim of strawman fallacy isn't going to let you partake anymore. You've wasted enough of our time with your gossip and your bloody nonsense. I'm sick of you. Does anybody on the panel actually have anything useful to say? About you, Rumpus. You're going to tell us how the horizon is and is not geometric in the same breath?
The apparent horizon, the visual one, is not the geometric one, so Chris is correct. It's a straw man.
We've only got one horizon.
We don't have a geometric horizon, Rumpus. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, well,
because we only have one. Right, Rumpus?
Yeah, so do we. We've been telling you this for 3 years.
Oh, yeah?
The horizon
You've been
you see
talking about a bunch of horizons now. What do you mean you only have one?
The apparent
one, and the one that we have is apparent. So you have no geometric horizon then, right?
Is the apparent one. The geometric horizon, because we have an atmosphere, is not something where the sky meets the water.
Well, that's what a horizon is. That's what a horizon is, Rumpus. A point where the sky meets the ground. So if you're saying, whilst describing two different things, geometric and apparent, redundant term, then that's two. And we've only got one.
QE read out to you the definition of 4 horizons in his hangout with you.
Yeah, they're all geometric. Every one of those descriptions was describing a geometric horizon. And they were also describing apparent, meaning you can see it, positions where the sky meet the ground.
That's right. There's only well, actually, even there's a difference in definition because there's whether or not you include trees and mountains and the local.
It's a shit. We've only got one. Yours is geometric. You're describing 2. One of which we see isn't geometric and another one that is. We've only got one. It's not your geometric one.
It's not the geometric horizon, that's correct.
Yeah, we know. Well, the one in your model is. It's marked with an X labelled horizon, and geometric in your geometric model you use to make geometric assertions about how much that physical geometric horizon blocks things. So it's definitely geometric and physical in your model. You used to claim it blocked the bottom of the Isle of Man. So telling me that we've got 2 is nonsense. Telling me that it's not geometric debunks your model. So welcome to Flat Earth.
Referring to me, welcome to Global Earth if you accept my points.
I don't accept your points. Your points are that we've got 2 horizons. One geometric that we don't see and is only applicable in your model, and is marked with an X and a single location in your model, called horizon in your model, and according to you we don't see it. So we don't have a geometric horizon. All you're doing is debunking Earth curve geometry, Rumpus.
But his diagram does not draw the refracted case. It
doesn't matter. It's not a refracted case. It's geometric, you absolute moron.
You guys do know that it's difficult to hear 2 people.
Yeah, well, he keeps on over-talking me. He never lets me finish a sentence.
I let you finish your sentence. You tell us there's two horizons. I start debunking it, and then you start talking through the middle of my debunking. Like you're doing right now. So what I'm doing is I'm closing his line when I talk so that I can be heard and he can't interrupt me. I'm not going to have him talk through the middle of my sentence and then claim that he's being interrupted by me. No. The fact that Discord can't hear won't change me being able to be heard by my audience. The fact that Rumpus decides he's going to talk midway through my sentence and debunking of his claim that we don't have a geometric horizon, we have an apparent, redundant term, horizon in the distance, which is not the horizon in his model. And he's saying, well, the model doesn't show the non-horizon. His horizon in his model is based on R and geometric and isn't, according to him, the horizon that we see. We only have one horizon, his horizon's geometric, and we don't see that horizon. Now what Rumpus is doing, as you can see if you're an audience member, because his light is constantly flashing, is not letting the Discord server hear a word I'm saying, under the foolish apprehension that he's interfering with my rebuttal. Now that's just cheap, fundy mute button trick that he's utilising, and all he's doing and always succeeding in is stopping the Discord server hearing him, or hearing what I say. Then he doesn't have to respond to it. So after this, you can see him flashing still. He hasn't stopped talking the entire time, hasn't listened to a word I've said. So let's mute him. Rumpus, you're stopping the Discord server from hearing anything. Can anybody in the Discord server hear anything I say after I start talking?
No. Two people were talking at the same time. And
yeah,
Rumpus.
I start talking and Rumpus starts talking through me. It's only to their claim that he hasn't had an opportunity to talk when he gets completely unimpeded air. So we hear him moaning that apparently I'm talking through him, but what he's actually doing is mid-sentence starting talking. So from now on, I want everybody in the audience to pay close attention to what's happening on this light. This is Rumpus. What he's doing mid-sentence is starting talking when I'm talking. So you can keep a track of when he interrupts me. Watch when his light flashes. Yeah, you'll see it flashing when I'm talking. He'll then, when I finish, claim he's not had an opportunity to talk. So I'll start again, we'll see if he listens or talks through me. You've made it plain, Rumpus, on this show, we do not see a geometric horizon. The horizon, singular, one horizon, which is what a horizon is, a single location, in your model, marked with an X labelled horizon, is geometric. We only have one, and according to you, the one we see, in reality, isn't the one marked with an X labelled horizon in your model.
Nathan, I'm wondering.
Notice how I'm going to get interrupted and prevented from answering here. Notice, everybody watch that. I will not be allowed to finish my answer or give you any sort of complete answer. Right, here we go. The diagram you're referring to, the Mick West diagram where he's got the X, draws a geometric horizon. He does not attempt to draw in the diagram the refracted case, which is the real world case. His diagram is simple. It's not complete. It's not as good as the diagram that I can show you now if I could present some graphics, which shows you that the horizon is not the geometric horizon. It's the refracted one because we've got an atmosphere. And so the apparent horizon is the refracted horizon. It's dependent on the Earth's geometry, but it's not the same as the geometric horizon, which is the situation when you have no atmosphere. So Mick West diagram is not correct for the atmospheric situation. He doesn't attempt to draw the complicated one. He draws the simple one. And because Nathan sees the simple diagram...
No, I don't want to hear an ad hominem attack, so let's just stop that in its tracks. No. Don't tell me what I do. I've got a few questions based on what you've just claimed, Rumpus, if you don't mind.
Okay.
So, you said it doesn't account for atmospheric conditions.
In the diagram.
In the mathematics.
No, in the mathematics he does when you use the refractive value, but not in the diagram you're referring to.
I see. And the refraction that is used, would that be in any way dependent on the physical geometry?
Yes.
Oh, right. So you're going to require a geometric horizon for that physical geometric geometry to be applicable. The R value will give you a geometric horizon. That's a fixed, physical horizon. Obstruction, formerly argued about in the Isle of Man discussion as blocking the bottom of the Isle of Man, according to you, when you drew a straight line to it. Even though you claim things...
I didn't draw a straight line.
And you notice he's talking through me.
I didn't draw a straight line.
That's the second time he's talked through me. Count two. So, you formerly drew straight lines to a geometric horizon that obscured the Isle of Man, while simultaneously claiming... That's the third time. While simultaneously claiming that there are bent lines coming from the targets beyond the geometric horizon that was obstructing it. So now you're saying that geometric horizon would only be visible if we remove the atmosphere. A horizon, Rumpus, is an apparent position where the sky meets the ground. That would mean you can see it. Now, if you are to declare that we have this second horizon that's not visible, then it's not a horizon, in spite of the fact that your refractive effects are dependent, that's the fourth time it's interrupted, dependent on physical geometry, giving you a physical geometric horizon, that would be an apparent position that's visible, marked with an X and labelled horizon. That is the horizon singular, one, because we only have one, in your model. It's geometric. And if that's not the fourth, fifth, sixth time he's interrupted me, if that's not...
You're going on for ages, you're not
right,
getting the
I'm
answer.
going to remove you. Bye-bye. He can't help using the fundy globehead mute button. It's the only tactic when his model's being smashed. He does have one horizon singular in his model. It's a geometric horizon, marked with an X and very specifically labelled horizon. We only have one. It's not the horizon, singular, in his model. A horizon is a point that you can see. An apparent, meaning seeing it, position where the sky meets the ground. All horizons are apparent. His is geometric, one, singular, in his model. But it isn't the one we see. So he can't draw a straight line to it. He can't perform globe geometry with it. Because it's not a visible location. It would be, if it was real. If you held a ball in front of your face, you could see that ball's geometric horizon obscuring things, as was claimed the ball Earth horizon was obscuring the Isle of Man. Now we're told that that claimed obstruction when debating the Isle of Man would have only been seen if we removed all the atmosphere. Well, that's a contradiction. It can't both be non-physical, never visible, and blocking things. That's a contradiction in terms. And the way they're getting around this contradiction in terms is saying the horizon in the model, that would be a visible position, an apparent location where the sky meets the ground, isn't visible. Well, if it's not a visible position where the sky meets the ground, it's not a horizon. And it is definitely labelled horizon in his model. I don't know why you're still here, Rumpus. You couldn't play fair. You kept interrupting me after bleating only minutes earlier that you were being continually interrupted. And then you interrupted me 6 times. So now you don't get to stay here. You're utilising this trick that I like to call the globe head fundamentalist religious zealot mute button. When anybody's smashing your religion, you will talk through them and bleat that you're being muted. Well, you weren't. You managed to interrupt me 6 times during that explanation of how we only have one horizon, it's not the horizon, according to you, in your geometric model. You'd need one. Your refraction value's got an R in it, 7/6R, the R giving you a geometric horizon. So you're screwed 6 ways from Sunday and your fundy mute button won't save you.
That was beautiful.
Shout out to Windrider for the $20
Neil, do you
super
hear
chat
me?
when talking about, presumably, Chris. He says, thick as a brick, Jethro Tull, lol.
Neil?
Yes.
Go ahead, Neil.
Oh, Elijah was asking if I heard him. I said yes. But that was beautiful, Nathan. Beautiful. And in Discord, he was talking the whole time. And my point is this. If you really know you have a point, I'm going to wait for you to totally finish, and then I'm going to say my point. The fact that he just keeps talking and talking and talking just leads me to believe that he has no point.
What I would like from these guys is I would like a citation that says that we're not supposed to see the geometric horizon, because according to National Geographic, it's the visible line between the Earth and the sky. So I don't know why they keep describing it as something that we don't expect to see, will never see, and can't see because of atmosphere. Yet, I don't know, National Geographic, who seems to be a subject matter on the Earth, right? According to them, say it's visible. So somebody seems a little confused here. Ballers.
Well, Rumpus is trying to say that the physical is not physical and can't be seen, even at 1.23 miles, well within everyone's eye viewing capability.
Yeah, I'm still waiting to see that sunrise at a mile away.
Yeah, you're spot on, Neil.
I mean, any ball. Sorry.
Go ahead, Chocolate.
No, I was gonna say, do any ballers have a citation that clearly states that the geometric horizon is a horizon that we will not see? Then I wonder why we call it a horizon.
Yeah, there is
being
one.
that's defined as something that we see.
Yeah, there is one. Andrew Thomas Young. But in so doing, he also buries the model when he describes it as being a thought experiment. But you would require geometric considerations. That is to say, consider it physical geometric when performing a thought experiment. That the horizon is an actual location when it's not. But he disclaims that within the description of it being a non-visible location, only visible when sucking out all the atmosphere. In other words, if the sky was a vacuum as claimed in the form of outer space, then that sky vacuum, following the natural law that is the second law of thermodynamics, would suck out all the atmosphere, leaving us with no air and a visible geometric horizon, according to them and Andrew Thomas Young. Because we can't do that, we have to assume that this moving position that changes with the weather is a physical geometric horizon. You have to take geometric consideration when doing this thought experiment. So you can think of the horizon as a physical geometric horizon, and when you're thinking about it being a physical geometric horizon, you can start qualifying how much physical geometric obstruction is blocking boats in the distance when they reach the diffraction limit. But it's not a physical geometric location. That's just taking geometric consideration when looking at a point that moves with the weather, called the horizon.
Considerations. Wow, okay. So in consideration, what you're saying is it's not that the geometric horizon is there and we can't see it. What you're saying is it doesn't actually exist.
Exactly.
Oh, well then, welcome to Flat Earth.
That's right. They're also telling us that it doesn't exist. They're telling us we don't see a geometric horizon, as Rumpus did here. No, we don't see it. Well, it definitely exists in their geometric model, but they're telling us we don't see it. So thank you very much for telling us we don't see the horizon marked with an X labelled horizon and geometric in your model. That's not reality. Good to know.
Yeah, but according to Sean, apparently, he's realized that, well, we're talking about a model, we're not talking about reality. Way to go, Sean.
Chocolate.
Sean
Remember,
G,
he
yeah.
also said in this paper that all the refraction calculations were based on the plane surface.
Yes, sir.
Then, if you want to wrap it around the globe, you got to go do these other hyperlinks, and we'll show you how to do that.
Yeah, Fight the Flat Earth has that problem from what I can gather based on a clip someone trimmed out. I can't remember who to credit, I'm really sorry. But yeah, he seems to assume that refraction is all mandatorily taking place on a sphere. He's got too wrapped up in the idea of begging the question of an R value and then assuming sphericity and geometric horizons and R-based refraction at 7/6R being mandatorily imposed on all observations ever, because their mathematics of geometry, now debunked by the Black Swan, does that. Not appreciating that his source, Andrew Thomas Young, makes it absolutely explicit that all of these effects described as refraction are being done on a flat plane.
Game over.
This game over. Got no sky vacuum to have their pictures claimed to be true, and they've got no ground-based geometry with a physical geometric horizon to claim boats are going over it anymore. There is absolutely no line of attack for the globe to claim itself as being real in any way, shape or form anymore, at all. It's genuinely the end of the road.
Although we've come to the end of the globe.
What? You sing now, Chocolate?
Chocolate's got a beautiful voice.
That was pretty good.
Sporadically.
Pretty good.
Beautiful.
I enjoyed it. Can I just say we've got the biggest audience we've had in 2 weeks. 238 people watching.
Oh, damn.
Biggest audience. Biggest audience.
Killed
in
238 years with my singing.
Yeah, not bad.
Is chocolate trying to be hot chocolate?
Boom, boom.
Oh. Always, brother, always.
That was good.
Wasn't hot chocolate women?
Be careful. This could go anywhere.
Uh-oh.
All right, sorry. Let's turn the beat around.
So we were discussing in the pre-show that I've been searching out a video. So kudos to you, Chocolate. I don't know if you were privy to this conversation earlier. You mentioned about you basically salvaged the story of the Emperor's New Clothes by drawing a perfect analogy with the kid believing the evidence of his own eyes when he sees a rocket launch. I just can't find the video. I've trimmed that out, and all I'm waiting for is somebody to send me a link somehow to that particular that video you described. I just don't know where to find it.
Right. And I don't know where the original video is. I know like certain people have clips of it in their videos, but I don't know where that actual video came from.
That's good enough.
Like I know Taboo Conspiracy has a clip of it.
Perfect.
And,
that's all I need. That's all I
yeah.
need. If Taboo's got it, I'll trim it out of his video. I was going to tap up Jaron to see if he'd got a copy of it downloaded, but if it's in someone's video, rather than pestering him to go through his hard drive, I can just trim it out if I know where the video's location is. So on presumably, has he remirrored it though? Was it on his old channel?
The last Ball Busters we did that we spoke about Taboo's video, it was in that video. I don't remember which one, but it was in that one. We spoke about it on one of the Ball Busters, so you should be able to find it.
So it's a recent video.
The most recent one that we spoke with Taboo.
That's
I know it's been
so specific. Thank you, Chocolate.
I can try to find it. I'm not doing much right now. So.
Oh man, if you can, that'd be uber helpful, because then I can actually put that video out. But I do want to put it out. I just think there's lots of great analogies currently. I can't remember who was it who actually brought up the Emperor's New Clothes. It was someone on Discord.
There was the guy yesterday, I think his Party Poet or something.
That was it, Party Poet. So yeah, he brought it up and he did a good job of explaining, the point of it in terms of it not being in the education system currently, and a very useful analogy to draw when people don't believe the evidence of their own eyes. I made a joke and said the moral of the story is don't buy cheap thread. Well, that was just a joke. There was a silence afterwards, and everyone was like, "Really? Is that the moral of the story?" Which it isn't. I hasten to say, but yes. Anyway, if I can put that in the video, it'll just make the video make a lot more sense. I.e., you say, "Oh, it's like that video with the kid." Cue the clip.
I got you. I'm on it. Look for it.
Yeah, that was a good little discussion yesterday. It wasn't actually the bit I intended to trim out either. So what I was looking for was the same guy, Party Poet, was saying, when you get asked about how the horizon's refracted, what's your response? Well, it just happened, right? Welcome to Flat Earth. It's refracted, right? Not geometric. Welcome to Flat Earth, Rumpus. Well, that was the reaction. But he's saying, well, no, they just argue indefinitely like Rumpus did about it being refracted. Like, yeah, well, that's still the same debunking that we're utilising. They're just throwing it back at us like it's a defence. We don't have a geometric horizon. Yeah, that's our argument. Yeah, but we don't have one.
You're not going to expect people to just be like, "Oh, thanks for welcoming me to Flat Earth, and I appreciate being here." That doesn't usually go like that.
Exactly. He was saying, "Oh, that only goes over."
To welcome to Flat Earth and hope they understand why you're doing that.
Exactly. He was saying that only goes over on your show. I'm like, does it go over on my show? I'm pretty sure that the people who hear those words don't go, "Oh, thank you. I see what you mean. We don't have a geometric horizon. We don't have that horizon labelled in our model. And the one that the refraction we're going to utilise is actually dependent on also. Thanks. It all kind of falls apart. Yeah. I'm glad you've pointed this out." No, that never happens. They do what Rumpus did. No, it's not geometric. Yeah, that's our argument. What, you conceding?
Sometimes you can hear, you can almost sense that the penny is dropping on them.
Or at the best, when it's a fundamentalist, they understand that their argument no longer makes sense. That's the best you can hope for from a fundy, like Brenda or Rumpus. Or a tell. Them interrupting the crucial details that I'm debunking, while simultaneously telling my audience, well, I won't get a chance to speak unimpeded. 0 interruptions. And then he gives his little diatribe waffle, launches into an ad hom about what I don't understand, which is where I actually stop him. And then he starts interrupting my concise rebuttal 6 times. Oh, right. Yeah, that's how it's going to work, though. Because the rebuttal's far more devastating than his claim. That it's refracted. Because his claim is actually a demolition of his own argument. But he doesn't want that highlighted. Of course, he needs to interrupt it at the key moments. Very telling.
Let's not forget about how short-term memory they have. Just wondering how long it's going to take till we can stop poking them with the actual horizon and go back to objects, and then when they start trying to make the horizon physical again, smack them upside the head with their geometry disfigurement.
Oh, it's been permeated enough to just use 2 words now. Black swan. Watch them all flap. That's all you need to do. That's all that happened with Brenda yesterday. She goes,
Nathan, do you have...
Go on.
Do you have Rumpus's, we do, we don't, we don't? It's a good one. He says it himself.
I've played it to death. Is it worth it?
Play it again. He just was on. Let him hear himself.
You'll have to keep, as long as there's no dead air. Right, I'm not looking for it. As soon as I started looking, immediately dead air.
No, I went on mute. I thought you were ready to play it, but I've
got to go and find it. It's going to take me a while. Plus, I've had a super chat.
Go ahead.
I'll read that out first.
Chocolate.
I'll just read out the super chat first, though. J Mel's 24. Although we've come to the end of the globe, the ballers can't let it go. It's not natural. It's not physical. You've just been told. You've just been lied to. Thanks, Choco. Yeah, I completely agree. There's a word for it. It's called fundamentalism. Anyway, I'll dig out this
awesome.
clip. Yeah, it's that was special today, Rumpus. You coming on? When 2 weeks ago I asked Rumpus, is it an actual location? And he said yes. And now he says we can't see it. So something's up with that, especially when it's only 1.23 miles out at 1 feet.
It seems like the globe, they always got to take something away, or you have to add something so you could visualize it. Take away the atmosphere, and then you can see the geometric horizon. When I just walk outside my house and the earth is flat.
And stationary. Yeah?
I don't have to add anything. It's there. It's obvious. I don't have to take anything away. It's there. It's obvious.
When did they ever take out the atmosphere for him to say that? Anybody?
Hey, Kiwi.
What was that?
Morning. No Atmo day.
Yeah, when did they ever take out the atmosphere to even be able to cite that?
Yeah, that's the other thing too. But I'm saying though, the way their logic, it's flawed.
Okay.
Logic. Who's got logic?
Rumpus has got logic.
Because they matter of factly live on a globe. So they have to work their way backwards from that. And that's what we see as retarded, you know. So
You want me to play this clip? Here we go.
No one claims the geometric horizon is where the apparent horizon is when...
Sorry, we've only got one horizon. We don't have two horizons. We don't have an apparent horizon and a geometric horizon. We just have a horizon. It's just not geometric!
Correct.
So we don't have a geometric horizon on a sphere, Rumpus? And, by the way, the geometric horizon is apparent!
Mute.
Meow, 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 meow.
Yeah, well then, welcome to Flat Earth. Your model of a sphere Earth requires a geometric horizon to obscure things in the distance, for boats to go over, and to bend at altitude. If you are now disclaiming that we do not have a geometric horizon, then we don't have Earth curve geometry.
I told you 2.5 years ago how this worked, and you didn't remember.
You've just made it plain we don't have a geometric horizon. So what geometric position, moron? You don't have one!
We do.
Oh, so now we do. Only 30 seconds ago, ladies and gentlemen, he made it plain we don't have a geometric horizon, and now we do.
No, we don't have a geometric horizon.
The fact that this flip-flopping retard rumpus has gone from it being geometric as a necessity, as per your model, to us not having a geometric horizon, and we never have, to now it being geometric again. If you can't recognise his flip-flopping and orthodox, it's because you're as retarded as him.
So we don't have a geometric horizon, then we do, and now we don't have a geometric horizon, right? When are you running for office of retardia?
It's a function of geometry.
No, it's not, because we don't have a geometric horizon. So the horizon is absolutely not a function of geometry. It's not geometric. We've debunked that with this image called the Black Swan, where we demonstrate that if it was physical and geometric, it would be in an impossible location based on the parameters of your own geometry. So we definitely don't have a geometric horizon.
I didn't say we did. We do.
Oh, so now we do. Only 30 seconds ago, ladies and gentlemen, he made it plain we don't have a geometric horizon, and now we do. We don't. Welcome to Flat Earth.
Do you realize how many times you've destroyed your own argument today?
So what geometric position, moron? You don't have one!
We do.
Oh, so now we do.
Correct, we don't have a geometric horizon.
So what geometric position, moron? You don't have one!
We do.
Oh, so now we do.
Correct, we don't have a geometric horizon.
And with that, I'll say, if you are watching this on the Nathan Oakley premiering stream, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow. Unfortunately, if you're watching this live on the Nathan Oakley 1980 channel, this is where we bid you farewell. A huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you who smashed the super chat, liked, commented, shared, subscribed, and all that good stuff. Be sure to check out nathanoakley.com and the Flat Earth Debate Forum to keep up to date with the community debate. A massive thank you to today's Discord and G+ panels for making this live show possible. As I say, stay tuned if you're watching on the Nathan Oakley stream, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!